Another New Jersey law, breathalyzer test now the law in New Jersey high schools.
A breathalyzer at the high school? For what? For every single student every day is going to take a breathalyzer?
Let me read the story.
Please do.
This is Pequannock Township in New Jersey. When it comes to keeping our teenagers safe and sober, one of New Jersey school districts is taking the lead by employing the use of a breathalyzer test. And as CBS 2 HD found out, it's become such a successful deterrent. Students are passing with flying colors. Keeping high school students sober can be, in some situations, a full-time job. I personally got breathalyzed, says student Jessica Forrest at the high school.
I like that there was one girl in the news probably 10 years ago that was told to take a drug test, and she refused.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, I've never used drugs in my life, but I'm not taking a drug test. Screw you. It's my privacy.
Oh,
and she was, kind of like a rabble-rouser.
Right.
All this leads to the one final correct answer. No more public schools. You could send your kid to a school where they do a drug test every 5 seconds. It'd be the parent's choice because a kid is your parent's property till they're 18. And you could send your kid to a school where they pray every day. You could send them to a school where they drug test you every day. They could, whatever they want. They could hit you with a paddle all day long if you break the rules. Or you could send them to a school where they don't do that. You would have choices. You would have your own choice, whatever you want for your kids at the school you want to pick out. You could sit there and look at their platform. Basically, the school would have a platform if it weren't a friggin' public school. Then you wouldn't have everybody whining and crying over every friggin' situation. You got public high schools where they're going, "Hey man, we want to teach evolution." Oh, we can't have that because God created you. And then people are going, "Well, scientifically, you can tell that there was a monkey and it walked out of here and it created a man." No, it didn't. God did that. And and Adam, and they had a tree, and they were told not to eat an apple, and he ate it. He made the personality rib and a bunch of other horse crap. And then, but some schools you have to teach it. Other ones they don't. You know what? It should be your right to send your kid whatever school you want to pay to send them to.
Well, right now we got public. Well, these are getting checked at for alcohol. Is now the rule at dances and social events. And one parent says, I'm all for it because if your child isn't doing anything wrong, you can have nothing to hide.
Okay, well, how about police come into her house and search it? If they're not doing anything wrong, they got nothing to hide. If that lady's not doing anything wrong, who cares if they go up and they look through her drawers? So they have some sex toys or whatever. Hey, they're not doing anything wrong. They're just looking through all the drawers in your house. They're checking your panty drawer. They're checking,
Well, there's a difference between coming on private property and doing it and public property, I imagine.
Okay.
Anyway, the problem was it actually came to a head when last year at graduation, senior trip, we had students who actually couldn't graduate as a result of their drinking.
Okay.
So now they have an active breathalyzer test similar to what would be used during a police traffic stop.
Oh, okay.
It's a little more intrusive, but administrators believe it sends a clear message about the zero tolerance policy on alcohol abuse.
So how do they test it? They test them all?
Well, they test them at dances and
every student at dance.
Let me just see if they have any more details.
It sounds like a fun dance.
Yeah.
Like standing in line for 25 minutes out in the cold, waiting to come through the door, taking a friggin' breathalyzer test. It sounds like a lot of fun. That sounds like a real party. I couldn't wait to go there. That sounds like a lot of fun. Why don't they test them all for heroin? Why don't they roll up their sleeves and check them for track marks? Would there be a problem with that? Would you have a problem with it, Jay? They roll up everyone's sleeves and make sure there's no track marks.
Right.
You take off their shoes because you can shoot up between your toes.
Right.
You take off your shoes and look for any needle prick marks. And you could do that. You could pull a hair out and you could test it for marijuana. It probably costs about $10,000 to test, but just test everyone. Somebody might have had some pot. Why don't they do that?
Okay.
All right. Good. You're going to check everybody for an STD? They might make out at the dance or something. Just pull out your genitals. Let's stare at them. It's a complete invasion of privacy. Please. It's one more reason to not have public schools, so you don't have this nonsense. Because you got a bunch of parents that can't raise their kids asking the school to raise their kids. They'd be better off just since none of them ever have a free minute to spend any time with their kids because they're both working, because they gotta have the huge SUV, the two of them in the driveway. They gotta have the vacation home. They gotta have everything their neighbor or their sister has, and her husband. Hey, they have that. We need this. Hey, man, I need to work 70 hours a week. I'm married to my job. Hey, man, but I want to have kids because my sisters have kids. So it's everybody working so friggin' hard for material things that they want the school to raise their kids. Now they want their schools to drug test them. And I'll tell you, it's not far. The next thing would be to check them for STDs. Do you want your kids showing your genitals to the security guy at the school? Jay, show Mr. E your genitals, all right?
Look, I think it's a little more intrusive than most people would go
Where do you
for.
Stop? They came after the gays, and I said nothing. They came after the gypsies, and I said nothing. They came after the Jews, I said nothing. When I turned around and Jay wasn't here, I freaked out.
Okay. Listen, anyway, just to finish this up, students, to avoid privacy issues, by making students sign a contract which states they must submit to a breathalyzer if they want to attend a school social event.
Okay.
That's how to get around it.
All right.
If a student comes in and he looks drunk, I suppose you could say just don't come in rather than give everybody a breathalyzer test. But apparently, if you're willing to sign the thing, I guess you just submit to it, and it's not intrusive as having to look at the private parts of your body or anything like that.
Okay,
but I don't.
You think it's free?
What, the breathalyzer test?
Yeah.
I don't know how much it costs for breathalyzer test.
Would you be for it?
But it is a little intrusive to with the drug search and everything else. So I'm a little leery of it.
Would you be for it if everybody going to dance had to pay the breathalyzer test fee?
I don't know. I used to.
Yeah, if it's like $7 or whatever, because I'm sure the things you blow in have to be wrapped up and sealed up in a container. You can't use the one that someone before you blew into. You might catch a disease using the same one. You catch tuberculosis or something. No. So each one of them is a brand new device that you're blowing into.
Mm-hmm. Well, you don't do that. You could have a keg seal. I don't know.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just reading your story. I'm not sure whether I have to decide how intrusive this is. But apparently, a student is willing to sign it. Doesn't care.
Do you think they should be able to search them all for guns?
Yeah, but the problem in some schools, I think you probably have to put up, those sensors.
Well, all right.
If I went to a school where the guns are a problem and violence was a problem,
yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't object to putting up sensors and making sure nobody has guns when they go into school.
Okay. Would you want metal detectors at Henderson?
I don't think it's a problem. No, not unless it's
What if
a problem.
one kid got shot next year? Would you want metal detectors at Henderson?
Well, no, that wouldn't be.
5 kids got shot next year. Would you want a metal detector at Henderson?
Then I would start, when it's becomes.
So 4 kids? Metal detector?
Yeah, I can't put a number to it.
I mean, you just did.
But
5,
you know what?
You put a number 5 to it. 1, you wouldn't. 1 dead kid, no metal detector. 5, there would.
Well, I mean,
I'm just trying to get a grasp.
Well, how about you? You wouldn't under any conditions?
No.
Okay.
I don't want to pay for it.
Okay.
I don't care. I don't care if your kid gets shot at school. I don't want to pay for it. You pay for it. They're your kids. You pay for it. They're
well,
not
you're
my
going to have public schools.
I don't want to pay for it.
Yeah, but you're going to have public schools.
Hmm.
Yeah. And it's public property. You have no. And there's a problem.
Hmm.
Probably I'd be for it.
Would you put a metal detector at the bus stop?
At the bus stop, that's kind of impossible.
On the bus?
No, just
you wouldn't put it on the bus. So what if one kid got shot on a bus? Would you put him on a bus?
I don't know. I have to think about that. No, I guess that'd be.
If 5 kids got shot on a bus, would you
well,
put it on the bus?
then you have to staff somebody who because a bus driver can't be policing the students.
So would you
You have
frisk
to have
everybody
somebody
that
who
walks
has
on?
those-
You frisk everybody.
You
that
have
walks
to
on
have
the bus.
security
You
guards.
pay a guy to frisk everyone that walks on the bus.
No.
Would you want your 16-year-old daughter getting frisked by a male?
No.
A man.
Frisking's a different story.
Would you? So you wouldn't have a metal detector, but you'd have somebody.
I don't think I would want people to be frisked. That's a little too interesting.
Then you wouldn't have the metal detector. How would you know if guns were getting on the buses?
I don't know.
Do you think the metal?
It's not easy. It's not an easy question to answer.
Do you think the
Answer.
Do you think agreeing that the metal detector should be at Henderson after 5 shootings was a silly answer when you said yes?
If there's a problem, if there's a constant problem of violence and guns at school, then I would consider it. I don't think that's silly. I think you're going to. Hey, listen, you can bring it out. You can make anything. You bring it out further enough. You extend that further enough. You can make anything.
Would you put a
silly.
metal detector at McDonald's?
No,
What if kids went to McDonald's after school and got shot?
that's private property.
Okay, how about go back to the bus? If kids got shot on the bus, would you put a metal detector on the bus?
No,
Why don't you care about the kids
because
on the
there's
bus?
so many buses. There's no way to.
There's-
Because it comes ridiculous.
That's
It's ridiculous,
ridiculous, but
yeah.
to put them on every school
Because
is
you got 100 buses and they're all over the place, and then you have to hire 100 people because a bus driver can't do that. You have to hire 100 people to.
No, I'm saying
to
put
mind
metal
on the bikes.
detectors on the buses at the door. There's one door on every bus.
Yeah, but it
If
goes
5
off-
kids got shot on the bus, you don't care about 5 kids?
Well, of course I care about
Look,
somebody getting
my
shot.
point being, and I think the rest of the audience with some brain in their head realizes that there's nothing you can do about it. There shouldn't be any metal detectors at any schools, any metal detectors on any buses. And when you catch some nut that has a gun, you don't allow them in the school ever again. Instead of the way we coddle our criminals and we go, please don't bring the gun anymore, Johnny. Now we need to educate you because you have every right to be allowed to be educated. I know you beat up everybody last week, but we need to educate you because you're another blessed baby little boy.
Well, the first thing I think-
Your mom smoked crack, and I know you're so wonderful, but you just need guidance. And I know you kicked everybody's ass and took everybody's lunch money, but we still need to give you an education because you're so sweet. Oh, we love you because you're little Johnny. I know your daddy didn't love you, but we need to love you and coddle you and hug you. And I know you broke that kid's jaw last week, but we can't throw you out of school because you're a blessed little baby. Please.
That's the thing they should do. They should be able to instantly expel a kid who causes problems.
Okay, now if they did that, do you think you'd need the goddamn metal detectors if they expelled every kid that was a problem?
No.
Thank you.